how you can bounce back and like how you have the control to respond to each situation. You know, like, man, I got fucked up, but like I can turn this around. You know, I still got like 4 matches ahead of me, and it's a long time, and it's a different opponent each time. But you gotta be real with yourself. You know what I mean? You gotta reality check. You know, and it's like
a reality check.
Yeah, back.
Sage burning up in the crib. Shawty wanna see how I live. First I gotta see you with a vibe like. You know that come for good the whole night. Pain on a young nigga's mind.
Perception of like people putting you in a box and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I like the fact that people can see me for me because that's how I portray myself. But a lot of people like external like praise for me being myself is also like kind of an invitation to inflate ego, as for lack of a better term. So it's like people are like, "Yo, Coke fucked someone up," and but I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to
get fucked up. You know, like that challenge. I'm
yeah.
not saying you would. But
Yeah, but it's not even about that. It's about like, I'm not gonna fight anybody. You know, now if it's all good fun, you know, I'll drunk and box somebody, but just we're fucking around, we're having a good time. But it's like, it's not a matter that I'm not so attached to how people perceive me that I let it dictate my actions.
Yeah, there you go. Attached to how people perceive you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. It's like, I'm also not making what people think of me my personality trait either. Because it's like, if I'm like, I'm a tough guy, people think I'm a tough guy, I'm not going to be trying to exacerbate their views of me by asserting myself aggressively on other people. You know, I'm not going to be an ass about it because like that's who I am. But I don't want it. I don't want one aspect to out like one aspect that is initially somewhat positive with some negative connotation to become an inflated cancerous like tumor that kind of outshines the other traits of my personality.
Yeah, that's 100%. And like that whole idea of like what you think you are versus like what you actually are. You know, because like I remember one time at work, like I remember I think it was like 3 weeks straight. I was like fucking on the money with waiting. Right, I was like because I used to work Tuesdays by myself, right, and I used to I was the only person on the staff walk out of there with like fucking $200 in a single day, right, which is really good for that restaurant that I work at. And then I remember this one Friday, I came along, these 6 women that every time they come in, they're like, "Happy Divorce Day," right? Because they're all divorced women, right? And they all celebrate all of their divorces together on that day. It's just like kind of like joke they have, and I waited on them before, and you know, I remember always waiting on them. They were a little bit tricky, right? In the sense that like they had a lot of requests, you know, and they always had a lot of questions, a lot of feedback. If they wanted to say something at you and judge you, they weren't afraid to do it, right? Mm-hmm. And so this one time, it was a Friday or Saturday night, and I walked out, and I got the table, right? It was my turn. I was like, oh, bet, you know, I'm going to make some money on this table, you know, and it did not go how I thought it was, right? I was like, man, I'm gonna do so well with this table. I felt like I was gonna. First thing they asked me was like, okay, I was like, oh, you guys want some drinks, right? And they were like, do you have a Brooklyn iced tea? I'm like, what the fuck is a Brooklyn iced tea? Like, I've never even heard of that in my life. And I was like, oh, I have no idea if we had that or not, right? And then I go in and I ask, turns out we have it, right? So boom, one mistake, already done, right? I go back out and I'm like, okay, yeah, we have a Brooklyn iced tea. And then a couple times later, I get all the drinks, I forget a drink, right? 2 mistakes down. And so I'm like, and if you're a waiter, you can relate to this, or really anything when you make a mistake, consistently, you're like, oh shit, you know, like their view of me is going to change, you know, my tip's going to go down, like, because that's really what it's all about, you know, you want the tip. And so I began to take their order, and they were asking me so many questions, and I was kind of like giving them general, vague answers, you know, and this was the one thing that really threw me off the edge. They made so many modifications to their meal, right, and had so many requests. I got like the whole page. It was like I was writing a whole encyclopedia of like everything, right? And so there was a lot of pressure on me to fit their needs because they had a lot of them, right? And so I go to put it in the computer, and I'm like double checking my work. I'm like, oh shit, okay, I think I did this right. Boom, send it. Turns out I forget like one of their meals, and so I have to like go back out, ask them. They're like, "Oh shit, okay." And then the food comes out, and then the food's not exactly how they want it to be. It's different, right? Because one wanted this burnt, one wanted this type of pasta, one wanted veal, not chicken, right? And I ended up giving veal to another person that wanted chicken, and I royally fucked up everything. I went. And like I must have made 10 mistakes with this table, and I was like, holy shit, dude! It's the worst table I've ever waited on. I made 10 plus mistakes, and you name it with their meals, any type of mistake, I made it with that table, right? And it was kind of like a chain effect, right? Once I made one bad mistake, it just continued to happen, and I was getting in my head so much. I remember I went back in the kitchen. It was after that I realized, no, oh my god, this is the best part. So, I remember how you told you the veal thing, right? She was like, it's a veal francais, right? And she wanted a chicken francais. So, I was like, oh shit, she wants a chicken francais. And so, I tell the chef, I'm like, okay, can you make a veal francais? Turns out she wanted like a chicken marsala or something like that. So I fucked up twice on the same person. And she asked me, she was like, "Is this veal?" I'm like, "Nah, it's chicken." Like what she wanted. And I was like, "Holy shit, dude! My head's about to fucking explode." And I went in the bathroom, and I never cry. Right? I last time I cried was when my cat died. Right? And like, you know what I mean? And like, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with crying.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Right? I go in the bathroom. I start crying, dude. I'm like, I just couldn't even take it anymore. I was like, holy shit. And I started laughing while I was crying. I was like, I looked myself in the mirror and I was like, I fucking love you, dude. Okay? Like, I had that self-love for me. And it was different from what I saw, right? And I was vulnerable with myself. And in that situation, I just let it out, you know what I mean? And it was nothing crazy, but it was just like, I was tearing up. Couple tears came down. I wasn't like bawling my eyes out or anything, and I was just like, "Fuck." Man.
You were weeping.
Yeah, I wasn't like really weeping, but it was like I was crying, right? In that sense. And I went back in the kitchen, and every time they brought it up, I was like, I felt like I wanted to cry, and I was just like, I don't even know how I finished that table. One of them came up to me at the end of the night, was just like, "Hal, you fucking suck." But yeah, no, she was like, they thought I was new. Even though I worked there for 2 years, you know what I mean? And I was like, man, fuck. It really humbled me, and it grounded me. And I was like, wow, dude, I am not as good as I think I am. And like, kind of like, I had a heavy attachment to how I perceived myself and what I thought other people perceived me as. And that is a really good example, in my opinion, of like, that whole example like you said.
Yeah, no, yeah, dude, you were not expecting the task that you were undertaking.
Yeah.
But everybody has those humbling moments. For me, it was in judo.
Yeah.
The first match, I had been on a 2-year break from judo for, I was just not doing it because I got bored with it, and I'm like, I missed this so fucking much. We're going back in, and I came back with a vengeance. I was training everything, judo, thinking, training, getting the chi. Becoming something more than I was before I started, and I'm like, it's time. Let's go to my first real tournament. Yeah. And I did. And this was when I was like 165. I didn't weight cut. This was back in deep newbie gains territory when I was 165 pounds shredded. But I go in my first judo match. I'm like, I'm gonna kill this guy. We're going for it. I get lifted off the ground and slammed directly onto my head.
Oh.
I saw stars. I didn't get knocked out. First round of the tournament. Fuck. Shit. That's like literally first match of my division. Everybody. Oh! I fucking down. I get up. My neck is fucked. I'm just like, bow, get it going. The fucking medic guy was like, "You okay?" I'm like, "I'm good." Go over to my sensei, and he's like, and that I'm just like, yeah, that's how it is. I was internally, kind of crushed. Like, fuck, dude. I thought it was so good. I was ready, but I'm like,
yeah,
I forget exactly what he told me.
Versus reality. Yeah.
I got reality tossed me on my head.
Yeah, dude. That's what I'm doing.
That's what it was. I'm like, okay. I shook it off.
Yeah.
I'm like, I took a breather. My match was like like I had a second match, and I'm like, okay. I fought through that. I lost. I was going up against a jiu-jitsu, that guy that practiced more jiu-jitsu was cross-training in judo. He submitted me. I'm like, fuck. 2 matches down. Fucking hell. I'm not going to get my... I was an orange belt at the time. I was going for my green belt. I'm like, I'm not going to get my belt like this.
Yeah.
And then, like, I just kind of fucking, like, shook it off.
Yeah, yeah.
Fuck it. The tournament's not over.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I started taking it back. I pinned the first guy. I hit him with one of my low-key favorite throws called Sasai Surikomiyashi. Mine the Japanese, but you know it's essentially a foot block. It's not quite a foot sweep, but you just tossed him over your foot.
Yeah.
But I shook his balance. I pinned him. That's one match.
Yeah.
That's I won. Next match, I won another one, and then the third match of my division, not the last one, but
This all in one day.
is one day, one tournament in my division, one division, and I'm fighting this guy. He's taller than me, a little lankier, around the same weight, and I threw him with the same throw I got bashed on my head on in the first one, and that was my crowning achievement. And then I fought the guy I fought first last. Like I fought him at the beginning of the tournament. I fought him at the end. Lost both times. I placed fucking second.
Damn. Fucking shit, dude. There we go. Yeah, I mean, I think just. Oh, you were going to say something?
No, that was it.
Yeah, okay.
You know.
I think one like turnaround. Like how you like feel yourself through. I get not even negativity, but just like adversity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like how you can bounce back and like how you have the control to respond to each situation. You know, like I mean, I got fucked up, but like I can turn this around. I still got 4 matches ahead of me.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long time, and it's a different opponent each time, but. You gotta be real with yourself, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you gotta
exactly.
reality check, and it's like
A reality will check you.
yeah, facts, you know what I mean? It's like you gotta keep it fucking real.
Yeah.
You gotta beam with yourself. Be like, listen, I don't know what situation or circumstance you're in, but like, bro, you gotta, I don't know, like, you just gotta keep it real with yourself. Don't, like you said, don't inflate yourself, or else reality will check you with what's real. Like, you're only as good as your preparation, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, if you go into a test thinking you're gonna get an A, even though you didn't study, unless you're a fucking genius that literally can, memorize everything the teacher says,
Yeah.
most likely that's not gonna happen.
Or if you're in a class that's easier for you.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, it's obviously highly dependent.
Yeah, I'm speaking from experience. I was coming into freshman year of high school. They put me in like the college prep, which is like everybody. There's like the stupid class. Even though it's not it wasn't called that, but it's the stupid class, the normal class, and the honors class. Science class, I was in the normal because 8th grade they control where you go in high school, where you're starting.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. I slept through the entire class, and I got the highest grades in my class.
Yeah,
And then she's like, honors, biology, you go. And I'm like, yeah.
Hey, there you go. It's like there you go. That's a defining example.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
But it's like, a lot of people go into the honors program thinking they're hot shit, and then they'll get checked by the workload.
100%. You gotta, are you really able to meet that standard? Like, that's like, obviously it's not a real standard, it's a standard we created, but like, you know what I mean? Like, are you able to do what the task is asking you to do?
Are you able to step up to the plate and hit a home run?
Exactly. Fuck yeah, man. It's like, fucking reality check, bro. Fucking check yourself.
Yeah, because that's the thing. A lot of people will be discouraged by a daunting task, thinking they're less. Like, they will either think less of themselves, or they will either think they're less of themselves, or that they're above the task. And both of these are dangerous. But you need both of these to kill it.
Yeah.
You need to realize this is difficult,
You gotta.
but I believe in myself that I can do it. Yeah. And in that middle ground,
yourself.
you are equal with the task. No matter what you say, if your mind is level, you will glide across it.
Yeah, 100%. Oh wow, only 14 minutes. Shit.
Yeah. But you gotta be level, level head, flush with the ground. You gotta be You gotta be solid.
Facts.
It's
Yeah,
like,
no. Yeah,
you know, I'm trying to think of ways to describe it, but it's like,
the more uncontaminated your perception can get, right?
you know,
From your own thoughts, from other
Yeah.
thoughts, right? You can see clearly without those thoughts bailing over your eyes.
yeah,
You can see what it is, here and now, no judgments aside, besides what it's telling you,
Yeah.
right? That task, the better you'll be off, right?
yeah. And if you have belief in yourself,
Believe in yourself, right? And have trust in yourself. Because if you don't have trust in yourself, then most likely
you will defeat yourself.
you will defeat yourself, and there won't be a good product at the end. Even though it is whole and complete, you know, the product is what the product is, you know.
Yeah.
But it might not meet that standard of what the task is asking
Yeah.
you to do. And, you know, yeah. I mean, I think a lot of things within this world of becoming that we've created ourselves have very high standards, right? And like even like for us as individuals, we tend to set very high standards for ourselves, or in the case that you don't even set standards for yourself. Because I think if you don't even set standards for yourself, it can be good, but it can also be very bad. Because I think you have to have that solid foundation of like, and if you already know that you already have good habits, good behaviors, then you really don't have to. It is good to challenge yourself, of course, 100%. You always want to evolve. You always want to try to get better. You always want to be a student. But if you know, you have trust in yourself. See, like I have a paper due Sunday, and I know it's going to be done Sunday. Am I procrastinating? Yes. Do I want to do it? No. But I know it's going to get done, right? Because I've seen like throughout my college career that I always get the task in on time. That's just how it is. You know, I just know it is. But yeah, I think it's like a balance, like you said. It's that middle ground.
Yeah. You need to have. I'm getting into a little bit of Sun Tzu territory with this, but you have to have, in this situation, the problem, or the task, or the goal, is the enemy. You need to have knowledge of the enemy, but you must also have knowledge of yourself. You need to know your enemy, but you are not above your enemy.
Yeah.
You are equal with your enemy.
Right.
No matter where you stand, you are equal with your enemy.
Yep.
The enemy could be. Look no further than the Battle of Thermopylae, with like Leonidas of Sparta and Xerxes and his armies. They were 300 people that took on an army of like tens of thousands. But the Spartans were cunning. They made level the playing field because they knew who they were.
Yeah. You said it was like 300 versus 10,000?
Around there, yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, and they bottlenecked them at the peninsula because numbers don't matter if you can't get all those forces through. They essentially cut their numbers down by half, and they slaughtered I think like a couple, like 1,000 or like a little bit more, They enough to put a dent in the army.
Yeah.
The whole deal is like, it's 300's a great movie, but that's what it's based off of. But it's like, dude, there's so many good quotes in that. Like, don't cower in the face of a daunting task. If their arrows will block out the sun, then you shall fight in the shade. That's ripped straight from the movie, but I love that one.
Yeah, that's
because,
a fucking good one. For sure.
It's like, and there's so many good like hype moments in that movie, but it's also like they stand true. It's like, you know, the whole concept is like Xerxes is the god king, but if you make a god bleed, the people will cease to believe him. You make low that which is holy. You make mortal the immortal.
Yeah. Yeah, what they think is immortal.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, dude, oh my god.
Dude,
that can be applied to so many areas.
I know, dude.
So what we were talking about earlier, beliefs as facts.
Yeah. Alright. Ladies and gentlemen.
Fuck, dude. Yeah.
That's episode 6.
Hell yeah, dude. Good shit.
Got the sage burning up in the crib. Shawty wanna see how I live. First I gotta see what a vibe like. You know that it come for good the whole